Hello, everybody. Welcome to Mindset is Everything podcast. Today with me is Sophia. Hello, Sophia.
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. You okay?
I am good. Yes, thank you.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for being here with me today. Well,
Thank you
listen,
for
guys.
inviting me.
Well, it's a pleasure. Listen, guys. Sophia is a working mother of two daughters who just recently changed her career significantly, but everything what was happening and why it was happening is her story. So I let her to talk to you about this, saying that, well, Sophia, can you tell us, please, what actually happened? How the story with your transition started?
Sure. Well, actually, all my experience has been in finance. That's what I majored in, and I have an MBA. And I used to work at a very large bank here in my country. I'm from Honduras, and this is where I currently live, Honduras, Central America. And then the pandemic came, and things changed so much in so many ways for so many people, or I could say that for everyone. And
Definitely.
yeah, so it hit hard, and especially I had a newborn. Like you mentioned at the beginning, I have two daughters. My oldest daughter, she's 9, and my youngest, she's going to turn 3 right now in May. So as you can imagine, when the pandemic began, like she was about to be born. So I had to quit my job because it was really hard for me to actually go. I had to go to the office, and my nanny left, and then oh my god, like I couldn't deal with so many changes. And especially it was really like we were really worried that I had to go to the office every day because we didn't know how COVID worked. Like I
Mhm.
went to work, and I remember then when I got back home, the first thing that I always did was wash my hands and take off my clothes, and I had to wash my clothes before I touched my daughters. I mean, it was crazy. That's how it was at the beginning because we didn't know how to deal with the
Yes.
disease, and we were all really scared. So it was
That's
really stressful.
exactly what was happening. We were doing anything that we can just to keep us safe, and we didn't know if we really need to do it or maybe it's unnecessary. But just in case, we wanted to stay on the safe side then, and it turned the world upside down back then.
Yeah, exactly, completely. And because we didn't have much information, everything was so new. Now that we look back at it, we're like, it wasn't really necessary, to go and work. Oh my God, with a mask on, and I had this thing. I don't know how to say it in English. It was like sort of
Oh
glasses that
yes.
covered my whole face, and it was crazy. So, but then again, we were all scared, and we didn't know like how to deal with this new virus. So it was really stressful, and aside of the fact that that was my routine every day, then our nanny left. Oh, and my oldest daughter, she had to have classes, like virtual classes.
Oh
She was in
yes.
first grade. So oh my god, nobody knew what to do, not even schools. And oh my god, it was exhausting. While I went to work, my husband had to like sort of teach my daughter, because obviously, I mean, she was in a Zoom link trying to learn how to read. So everything was crazy. And then we thought, I have to quit because it's not sustainable to be doing this. I mean, obviously, we needed my income, but luckily, like the heaviest income was my husband's income. So we were like,
Mhm.
you know what, like pros and cons, like I should quit, and
Mhm.
that's what I did. So
Yes.
and it was a good job. I actually liked that, but in the end, it was really mentally exhausting. I wasn't even enjoying it because I went to work really scared every time because I did not want to get sick. I mean, nobody wanted to get sick, and especially
Exactly.
because I had a newborn, and I'm like, what if she gets sick and like she doesn't even have all her vaccines? it was crazy. So we decided, we talked about this with my husband, even with my mom, and because she was the one that actually helped me out. She came to my house and she was like, okay, I'm gonna take care of the girls, but it was crazy. It wasn't working. So I decided to quit my job, and it was good. I'm grateful that I got the time to spend with my daughter and to help my other daughter, because virtual classes were, oh my God, that I don't even know where to begin describing the torture that it
No,
was for.
let's not comment on it because well, I tell you, it's uh, I don't know exactly how it was in Honduras, but I can hear from your tone of your voice that it wasn't good. I know
No.
it was the same in the UK. It was the same in Poland because I'm originally Polish, so I know those countries. I do have a few clients across Europe, and they haven't been happy with it. So it was difficult for all of us.
For
But
all of us.
as a home educator myself, I need to say that I'm glad it happened because parents had a chance to see well, what things are not being done properly at school. And it
Yeah.
kind of a kickstart, at least in the UK, it kickstart the, well, large volume of home educating parents. And it probably is going to cause a lot of changes in education itself. So, well, there is a chance that the changes will be benefiting our children. And that's
Yeah.
something good that comes out of it.
For sure. I always think that everything, happens for a reason, and something positive comes from every situation.
Definitely.
Um, so yeah, indeed, I think that, and it helped, it made me appreciate so much the job that the teachers do, because teaching, it's not easy. It is not. So well, so yeah, we went through all those changes, and so I was, being a full-time mom, and but I kind of missed, having my own income. It's always necessary, of course, and to feel more, I don't know, I don't know if it's more complete, but I'm a professional and I've always worked. So something was missing, but I didn't know how to do it. I had to go back to the office, and now things are normal now. um I no longer have a baby. Like, my youngest is going to turn 3, like I mentioned, but
Yes.
I wasn't sure, like, how, what to do, what was next for me in my professional life. So
So
then this opportunity came up,
don't tell anything about this, please. Not just yet.
okay.
I want to, well, keep it for later. And
Okay.
before that, you already mentioned that you discussed everything with your husband, and I can hear it that you've been making decision together,
Yeah.
and that your mom was helping out for a moment. But in all those times, was there someone else, or, well, any people, organization, maybe your former employer, someone that you could reach out for help to rely on at those times?
um I would say, what, to have like the support, emotional support, aside of my husband and, well, my parents. Yeah, I have like my closest friends, because this is not a decision that you take
Mm.
like just like that. Like, oh, so I'm going to quit. Like, no, you really need to think about this, think it through, and actually have a plan. We did not have a plan back then. It was just like, we have to do it and we'll see what happens. Um, but not actually with my former boss, because I mean, every person is different. Here in Honduras, people are used to work from 7 to like 5 or 6. It doesn't matter, and you have
Mm.
to be present in the office. So I felt like this struggle as a mother, that there is so many pressure among us, because you're expected to work as if you don't have children. and to be a mom as if you don't work. So it's like, oh my gosh, like how do you keep up doing all of it
And
and
it's a
not,
lot.
and it's a lot, and try not to lose your mind. Exactly. So I would honestly say that all my support system was my parents, my husband, and my closest friends, not anyone regarding like my former job. And I
Hmm.
mean, and I think then again, we were all like really struggling at that time because it was complicated. I wasn't the only one that had to actually quit. So I
Yes.
had another friend that actually had to do it. And I mean, I would say again, were crazy times. Nobody was expecting, a pandemic that will lock everyone down.
Yes, but well, we had a chance as well to see how the system works and where it fails. So hopefully, all the measures that are being well introduced now within small, large companies, they will be better. I know a lot of large companies will introduces all the well-being programs and mental support.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially
but
that mental support.
yes, and that's important. We know that
Yeah.
now. But just to change the subject now, tell me, when you were leaving your job, did you consider then that you will be going into different career than finance back then?
Yes, I actually considered, having at the time I considered, I maybe I would be an entrepreneur and do something. I
Perfect.
actually with a friend, I started this like online, like a very small online shop, and we did jewelry. And we did
Perfect.
that like for 7 months or so. I mean, it didn't leave us like, oh my God, that significant income, but it was okay at the time. And then I thought that maybe I should pursue that, being an entrepreneur and do something on my own. That was the first thing actually that I considered doing.
Perfect. And we're definitely going to get back to it. Uh, but other than well, having an idea of what you could do and trying it out, what actually are the most important benefits for staying at home mom? What did you enjoy the most?
Oh, spending time with my daughters, that is completely priceless. They grow up so fast, and I know people, you always say this, it's not a cliche, it does, they really grow fast. And you have to enjoy the little moments, even when you're so tired, they're not going to want to sleep with you their whole life. There will be a time where they will be big enough that they don't want to spend time with you. It's kind of happening with me with my oldest. She's 9, and she thinks that she's a teenager already, and I miss that little baby.
Mm,
And just thinking that my youngest daughter is going to turn 3 is like it's, and I've been here with her, and I'm able to attend school activities, and that's really important for me because that was
yes.
very complicated when I had a schedule and I had to be at an office. I couldn't always go, so I had to tell my husband to go, or my mother to go, and that was really hurtful for me because I always want to be there for their moments, and also being able to take my daughter to school and pick her up, in those rides we always talk about her day. And and my daughter, she likes to talk, so I'm always aware of what she does and who she hangs out with, and that is priceless.
It is definitely, and I do understand what you're talking about, including the changes, because I know at some point it was out of nowhere, no kissing anymore, no hugging in public, only in the evening when my son goes to bed. So all the rules suddenly they just appear because they're growing up.
Yeah.
So they are changes, and well, the moments, well, during the childhood, especially, we're never going to get those moments back if we miss them. So it
Yes.
is important. And yes, it's something that a lot of people tells me about, and I'm glad you said that here as well, for everyone to hear. But I know already that you didn't pursue your career as an entrepreneur, well, because you decided to do something different. And what happened? Tell us, what has changed?
Um, Actually, I was about, well, I didn't have an idea precisely of what I wanted to do. You know, I think I'm good at what I do. However, I'm not very creative. So I couldn't come up with what can I do? Because the jewelry thing, it was good. The store still, I still have the Instagram page, and
Mhm.
sometimes I still get messages, but I didn't do the jewelry myself. Neither did my friend. So that kind of complicated our situation because we had to tell this person, you know, we have this order, and so sometimes that it made it a little bit complicated, and that's the reason why in the end we were like, you know, we tried it, it was okay. We can get back to it maybe, you know, you never know, some other time with a better plan. But at the moment I wasn't very creative with what was my next step. So I was really like, okay, I'm a mother, this is it, you know, this is my role, so this is what I'm going to do now. And
Yes,
yeah, so yeah, opportunities then go to your door and things happen.
exactly. Yes,
Mm,
when we surrender, they say, when we
yeah,
surrender, the opportunity comes and the universe shows us the way.
yeah,
That's
definitely.
that's what I think. It's actually true because it worked for me really well
Thank
several
you.
times, and it still does.
Yeah.
But as a person, because it was something certain that you had. You had this job related to the education. You were good in it. You were growing in it, and then suddenly all the changes. And out of the changes, when you, like we said, surrender, something new came out, and you've made a lot of changes.
Yeah.
So what changed in you as a person? Because I can see the mindset. What is in here was there all the time, and it was this urge to search for opportunities and test them out. But
Mhm.
what do you feel changed in you?
You know, I thought to myself, okay, maybe I studied finance, you know, but it's not the only thing I'm good at. I think that I'm a very determined person. So when I always, when I set my mind to something, I always end up I'm doing it. So I'm like, you know, maybe this is not my path, not right now at least, because working in what I studied, at least here in my country, it implied for me to go back at a bank, to go back to the office. So I thought to myself, you know, I need maybe to look for something different to do. You know, it's not the only thing I can do. I can learn. So I was like, okay, maybe I could work in something like sales. You know, I think I've always, and oh, and this is important. My husband always told me, like, you have good people skills, you know, like you always manage to convince people, and you always have like good personal relations. You're good at this. And I remember he's an architect and he has his own company. And there was a point when he told me, like, you maybe you should work with me and help me get clients. And from there on, it was like, you know what, maybe I should do it. And I've got him some of the good clients that he has right
Good.
now. Yeah, so that was like, okay, so maybe I could be good at, you know, at a sales job.
So we know that you went that way, but we don't know exactly what you do. So tell us what you do, what kind of, well, what kind of people are your clients?
Okay, so you know, I work for Simera. Simera is a talent acquisition platform that helps companies, that helps North American companies build their teams with great talent that it's based here in Latin America, like me. And What I do basically is I prospect these companies. I'm always searching. I'm always on LinkedIn. I'm always looking at different job boards and look for these companies that are currently hiring. And I prospect them. You know, I send them emails, I send them LinkedIn messages, and I call them, and I find my way to contact them and get them to hire with us because it's a very good deal. It's very cost efficient. You know, hiring in Latin America is it's it reduces your cost, your hiring costs up to 60%. So that's basically what I do on my daily basis. And I really enjoy it. I actually am good at it and I am proud of it because I had no experience. But you know, Simera taught me everything that I knew. When I decided to work here, my friend, she works in Simera. She's the one that gave me this opportunity. She's the head of operation, the head of sales, sorry, of Simera. And I remember I told her, I have no experience in this, but you know that I'm willing to learn. And she told me like it doesn't matter that you don't have experience. We're going to teach you and you'll see, you'll get it. And she saw this in me, thankfully, and here I am now
Yes.
working at sales. So yeah, and I actually really love it. I get to work from home and I manage my time and I've learned so much, like really, really a lot. And it's a good feeling, you know, that you actually get recognized by the work you do, unlike my other jobs that people were like really focused on, okay, so you were the first at the office, but you have to be the last one to leave. Something of culture, you know, related. And it's not the way
Yes.
it works here at the company. Is like if you're good, you're good. There's no micromanaging going on. And results speak for themselves. So it's a very result oriented company and it has given me the opportunity to spend time with my daughters and to have this time to bring them to school like I mentioned and be present if my daughter
Yes.
has a basketball game and things like that. So I get the best of both worlds and it's really good. It's really satisfying.
And that's amazing, this work-life balance that everyone is talking about. But we forget that it's different for, well, each and every one of us. For someone like for you, it's to have time to take children to school and pick them up after school and work in between. For someone else is, well, to be at work 12 hours a day, and that's a balance because that's what they need. That's when they feel right. If they have a day off, they get bored and nervous. So it's important to know that we are different, they are those differences, and
Yeah.
well, you found your way. So tell me, if someone who's listening now would like to talk to you and ask you about the services you deliver, what is the best way to get in touch with you?
Well, you can contact me via LinkedIn or send me an email or call me. I always answer my emails. I always answer, well, I try to answer all of my emails in LinkedIn, my phone as well. But I think it's easier through email
Yes.
or LinkedIn because I have my Honduran number and my number from the US. So definitely it would be though I'm always checking my phone, definitely via email or via LinkedIn. Yeah.
Yes, well, that's I think LinkedIn email, that's the best because well, when we are on the meeting, between the meetings, we cannot always check our phone and answer it.
Yes.
Uh, but yes, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to include in the description. So guys, if you want to have a chat with Sophia about what she has to offer, down in the description there is a link to her LinkedIn profile as well as the email address, and you can get in touch with her And please, please, please make a note that you just listened to the podcast and you wanted to have a chat with her, so she knows that well, you've heard the podcast and that's how you get to know her. And yes, well, anyway, I wanted to ask you one more thing, because that's actually something that I always ask people. Well, the question is, if there was someone who right now is in a, well, difficult situation that you were at, if there was someone who wants to change something in life, or who must change something in life, what would be the one golden advice? If you only have a chance to say one thing, what would you recommend this person to do?
Change your mindset, because I think everything is in the attitude we have. And if you always try to stay positive, even though it's not always possible, things will work better, because you will have another point of view. Instead of thinking, oh, so I had to leave my job, I won't have a job anymore. You can think this is an opportunity to maybe do something else that I'm meant to do, or do something that I will enjoy better, and it's all in our minds. So that's the advice I would give, because I think it has worked for me, and I think it does work. Our minds are really powerful, and our attitude up towards how we face things is everything, because we have the choice to feel bad and feel bad for ourselves and ask why us, or just think like everything that happens, it's an opportunity. So that's
Perfect.
what I would say. Yeah.
Perfect, fantastic. And that's why I call this podcast Mindset is Everything, because, well, you just showed a fantastic mindset in here that opened the door for you and, well, allow you to have a life that you wanted. So yes, saying that, Sophia, thank you very much for meeting me here today. Thank you for sharing your story. That was a true transformation, and it was wonderful. Guys, I want to see more transformations like that. And well, if you want to, well, maybe work with Sophia, see what she has to offer, please get in touch with her. The contact details are below in the description. So, Sophia, thank you very much for meeting me today. That was
Thank you
fantastic.
for this. Thank you. I really enjoyed it. And thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here and to talk about my experience, and for giving, this positive things to people, that hear your podcast. So it's a really amazing thing you do. So thank you.
Thank you very much. It was a pleasure to have you here. And yes, see you again, guys, in the next episode. Maybe in one of those we'll see Sophia again, and we have another chat about what we can do and change in life. And for today, that's everything. So take care and see you next time. Bye bye.
Thank you.